Hey everyone, it's the last day in October in Austin and the weather is beautiful. We just got over some really cold nights. The weather's sprung back to this beautiful 75-degree days and 45-degree nights. The garden's looking amazing, so I want to show you what's going on. Come on back. So I'm standing in the lower garden, the raised beds that we planted and built 2 or 3 years ago. These are the cedar beds, and right now I'm standing next to the long tall bed in the back, and it is filled with this African blue basil that has been growing for 5 or 6 months. I had tomatoes and husk cherries, the ground cherries planted in this bed. Those were harvested in July, long gone, but this African blue basil just keeps on blooming and the bees love it. From morning to night, the bees are all over it. I don't even think you can see what's going on here, but this is absolutely my favorite plant of the summer. And every spring I plant it. I recommend you add some to your spring and summer gardens. Next to it, which I think is a really cool color combo, is this orange torch flower, Mexican sunflower. This was actually a volunteer. It reseeded from 2019's summer garden. So it came back, and it's such a joy and a surprise and a happy accident that it looks so good with the African blue basil. The thing is with this bed is that I would really love to plant some fall veggies in it. We have only a couple more weeks until we really want to have the gardens planted up for fall. And this is a really good bed for veggies, but I can't bring myself to take down this basil and the torch flower. These beds, actually this bed I have planted some fall lettuce and spinach seeds. So this is going, and I call it the salad bar bed, almost ready to harvest. This is like a leaf mix, and I'll just bring some scissors out here one night and cut it down and bring it in for salad for dinner. And it'll keep growing for probably 3 or 4 more weeks, and then I'll keep reseeding it. The spinach is almost ready to harvest, and some butter crunch leaf lettuce, one of my favorite leaf lettuces, and that's coming in nicely. So this was my experimental fall tomato plant. I planted it at the end of July. I've said before, I'm not a huge fan of fall tomatoes because they do this. They have been sitting with this really nice looking fruit for 3 or 4 weeks, and because the nighttime temperatures have gotten so cold, I don't think that they're going to turn red. And that happens a lot, yet it's taken up some pretty good real estate all summer, and I've watered it regularly all summer. So it's kind of a gamble. Is it, worth trying to get red tomatoes but maybe ending up with green, or just planting something else here? I think what I'm going to do, again, we have looks like another week of warm weather, so I'm going to leave them on the vine. If we get anything lower than like 38, 35 degrees, I'm going to harvest the tomatoes, see if they'll turn red inside, and take this plant out. But it's kind of cool, it's really pretty, so I'm happy with it. The Shishito Peppers are coming back, and those we're harvesting now. Those have kind of sprung back from a summer slump. And the potatoes that I planted in a fabric pot in July are not looking super hot, but I'm gonna leave them in there and see if there's any surprise taters in there. In a couple weeks I'll dump them out and see what we got. Let's go look at the new beds up top. So we're up at the top beds that were recently built with the limestone and new gravel paths, and I planted the bottom bed in mid-September, and it's grown in a ton. I want to show you everything that's growing and how bad the caterpillars have chewed it up. And then the top bed I've planted a little more recently, so you can see like what a garden that was planted 4 weeks or even 2 weeks ago, looks like. So in the bottom bed and kind of at one weekend, we planted almost everything that you see here. Planted an artichoke, which I love, and will grow and then produce the flowers that we eat in March or April. Some quick maturing plants, this arugula and spinach and cilantro are coming in, and we've been harvesting that and eating it. And then a second succession here of more arugula, and I'll continue to do that every 2 or 3 weeks so that we can always be harvesting some sort of greens. This really pretty purple veined plant is a purple Brussels sprout, and this is, you can see the damage that the cabbage worms have been causing. Here's one right here. That guy, they're all over these brassicas, and every day, twice a day, come out and look for those guys and squish them. And I'll show you the broccoli and the cauliflower that's even worse than that. Sugar snap peas are coming in and climbing up the little trellises we made. I have some borage, some flowering plants scattered in here. This is another row of arugula and some younger cauliflower that were planted about 2 weeks ago. This cauliflower and broccoli section here was planted mid-September. You can see how big they've grown, and everything looks great. There's a ton of holes in the leaves. Again, those cabbage worms in September when it's still warm and we're planting these cold crops, they really attract caterpillars, and we just have to pick them off every day. So I'm not too worried about it. Here's another one. I'll just keep squishing, and I do treat them with BT, which is an organic pesticide that we spray on the leaves. As soon as the temperatures get cold again, those pests will go away, and the flower that we eat, the cauliflower, the broccoli, won't be harmed. So all good. I have cabbage, I have some more cilantro growing in these little bare spots in between the broccoli. This broccoli is probably about to put out a head, and we harvested probably in another month, in December. We'll have some nice broccoli heads. Another trellis of snap peas, some beautiful bulb fennel, and this will get harvested any night that we're ready to eat it, but it looks really good in the garden as well. A couple rows of carrots, a row of gold beets. This is the second planting of radishes. Those are almost ready. And some calendula and nutsedge. This is a weed. So that's the lower bed. Up top here, this was planted 2 weeks ago, and then the seeds were planted 1 week ago. So we have a little area of garlic, and you can see it's already coming up. Garlic will get planted in October and November here, and will grow all winter and all spring. And we harvest it 9 months later, about June or July. It's a long season crop. I put it kind of back in the corner where I can just kind of let it grow for a while. It's a little nasturtium, more flowering plants growing in. Second seeding of spinach. Second, there's another one down there. So we have I have 3 kind of successions of spinach going back here. We love it. My kids love it. We eat it a lot. A second succession of carrots, and then I don't know if you can see this, but just 7 days ago we planted some seeds, and this is a Pak Choy, some Tom Thumb head lettuce, you can barely see it, and another lettuce greens, like a leafy green that will come and just snip as needed, the leaves as needed, and kind of cut and come again. Another trellis of snow peas, about just popping up now. This was 7 days ago. Some celery, tiny celery transplants that were started from seed about 6 or 8 weeks ago, and finally big enough to transplant in the garden. Again, that's another long season crop. Probably won't be able to harvest from it until February, but it's really delicious when homegrown. So if you can find some celery starts, I would recommend adding that to your garden. Little gem lettuce seed, radicchio seeded, and badger flame beets that are just starting to pop up. So this is a newly planted garden with little seedlings. It's super exciting to come out and just see what's sprouted that day and watch them grow. This section of brassicas was planted probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. Kind of as I have starts ready, I'll transplant them back, or if I get some leftover oddballs from other jobs, I just kind of put them back here. And so it's a little sporadic, this section, but mostly broccolis and cauliflowers, and I've added some more cilantro seed to fill in the gaps. Again, like this is probably a 4-week-old broccoli, and then this one I just planted a couple weeks ago. But that'll mean that we'll have harvest heads of these things throughout January and February, so that'll be nice instead of getting everything all at once. More cauliflower, purple cauliflower, and some sprouting broccoli, and a few herbs back here. So that's the entire garden, the 3 beds down low, the 2 beds back here, and just really loving this fall weather. The garden, it's easy to grow plants in this weather, and I like being out in it. So I hope you're planting some things or enjoying your garden, or if you're in a northern climate, putting your garden to bed and watching us grow things down in the south. Thanks.